My name is Charlie, and I've used almost every website builder out there and built dozens of websites over the last 10 years. In this video, I'm going to go over my favorite website builders. So if you want to build an affordable, easy, but also very professional looking website, this video is for you. I'll go over the pros and cons, the best use cases, and which one I think is the best for your situation. I do want to say this video is not sponsored. It's an honest overview, and I'll have links down below to every single website builder I talk about. And if you want to use those, it'll help support me and my channel. You'll also get a discount for using most of the links, and those are exclusive for my audience only. And yes, I actually use all of these website builders, so you can count on me to give you a really honest overview. Yeah, my whole goal with this video is to help you out. So the first website builder I want to talk about is the Hostinger website builder. I've been using this for a couple years. It's amazing. And for almost every single beginner out there, this is what I recommend starting with. So in terms of pros, it's super easy for beginners, right? It's a drag and drop editor with a smart grid. And there's so many AI tools that come with this builder that help you generate site designs, write text, and even create images to help you, really speed up your website building. We'll talk a little bit more about pricing later on, but it's super affordable. It's gonna be between $3 to $4 per month. And even with those packages, you also get e-commerce features. So you can sell things, and you also get a free domain, SSL, and plenty of storage. Another pro about Hostinger is that they have really fast loading times. So yeah, if you care about like website performance, which by the way is super important, then you definitely want to pick a fast service, and Hostinger is really good at that. Another thing I like about them is that they have 24/7 customer support. And yeah, I've built a lot of really great looking websites using the Hostinger website builder. Honestly, it is so easy. It's insane how good this builder is. It's also extremely easy to learn, right? It literally takes you about 5 minutes to build a foundational website, and then you can go into the builder, change a bunch of things, change your logos, change your photos, all the text, build out new pages. It's all really easy to do. I have some really in-depth tutorials on my channel about how to use the website builder, and I'll link those down below. But yeah, another pro is there are tons and tons of AI tools. Hostinger is really good at incorporating AI into their builder, and these tools will definitely save you a ton of time. Now let's go over some of the cons, right? So with the website builder, there is definitely less flexibility than some other builders out there. There's no app marketplace or plugin system compared to something like WordPress, but WordPress is a whole beast on its own. And I think for most of you guys watching this video, it's not worth it to learn WordPress. So while you can customize a ton, it's definitely less customizable than something like WordPress. The e-commerce functionality is also pretty basic. So if you're trying to build like a full-on store selling tons of products, you'll probably want to use something like Shopify, which we'll actually talk about later on in this video. So who's the Hostinger website builder best for? It's really good for beginners or small business owners that want to save some money and want like a simple, professional looking site that is very easy to build. It could be for your personal brand, it could be for your portfolio, your resume sites, for any local business, and even simple online stores. It's also for people that want like an all-in-one solution. So you simply sign up for one single plan. You can build multiple websites with that one plan. Setup is really easy. Building a website is extremely easy. And yeah, I recommend that for most people because you want to spend your time building your business, not building your website. So this will save you so much time. And lastly, it's really good for people that care a lot about AI. If you want to use AI to help build your website, then Hostinger website builder is a perfect choice. If you guys click on the link down below, it's going to take you to this landing page, and let's check out the pricing because that's one of the biggest perks about Hostinger. It is super affordable. So if we click on claim deal, it'll take us to the most popular packages. And I do want to say, if you guys use code Charlie Chang at checkout, it's going to take an even bigger discount. It's only for my audience. So yeah, hopefully you guys can use that to save you some money. Yeah, Hostinger is definitely one of the most affordable options out there. And as you can see, it's between $3 to $4. For most of you, I recommend either the premium or business plan. And the great thing about Hostinger is that you can lock this super low price for a long time. With the premium and business plans, you can make between 25 to 50 different websites all in one plan, which is insane. You get access to the website builder, which uses AI, but you can also build a website using WordPress if you want to do that as well. You get tons of storage, plenty for almost every single person out there. They have tons of built-in templates, free SSL, free domain. So if I click on the business plan, for example, you'll be able to select the amount of time. I recommend 24 to 48 months just to lock in that super low price. Definitely click on have a coupon code and enter Charlie Chang at checkout. And yeah, that's going to save you a lot of money. Yeah, if you've seen my channel and seen any of my other videos, you know that I love Hostinger. I host almost all of my websites on Hostinger myself. And yeah, it's just been super reliable. It's been super fast. I love their builder, I love the customer service, and I think it's a perfect choice for most people. Again, if you want to try Hostinger out, I'll have a link down below. Use that link to save some money. And yeah, every person I recommend Hostinger to, they love it. So that's why it's at the top of my list for most people. Okay, the next website builder I want to talk about is Squarespace. I've been using Squarespace for over a decade now, and overall it's a really well-built website builder that I think anyone is going to love. Let's talk about the pros. The first pro with Squarespace is that they have so many really well-designed templates. So I think there's like close to 200 different themes that are super mobile responsive. They're all super polished, and you can really tell that they're designed by professionals. One thing I'll say is that Squarespace sites, they tend to look really professional right out the box. So if you don't want to really customize your website and tinker with different things, then just choose one of the professionally built themes on Squarespace and build your website that way. Squarespace is also really good if you want to have a blog. So I hosted my blog on Squarespace for many, many years. They have support for comments, multiple authors, scheduling, and there's also a ton of SEO tools and marketing tools, which a lot of the other platforms don't have. Every single plan on Squarespace comes with e-commerce functionality. So if you want to sell different products, then Squarespace can be a great choice. They've also been starting to implement more and more AI tools. So essentially you give it some information, it builds an initial site layout, and you can further customize it yourself. The Squarespace builder is also extremely easy to use, very similar to Hostinger. It's a section-based drag and drop editor. And while you can't move things pixel by pixel, I actually think that's an advantage because it's going to really ensure that your design is flawless. It's also an all-in-one platform. So yes, everything's included. Hosting, support is 24/7. You have the builder, you have all the templates, you have the domain, and it can actually support a fairly large site if you want to, really scale your business or website. Now let's talk about some of the cons, and I'll say that the first con is that there's definitely a bit less freedom when it comes to customization compared to some competitors. You're pretty constrained to the template structure that you choose. And again, I mentioned this earlier, but I actually think that's a positive. You don't want to have full control over the design because 99% of you guys are not designers and you are probably going to mess things up. There's also limited extensions and apps when it comes to Squarespace, and that's just far less like other platforms like Wix and WordPress where there are hundreds or even thousands. Squarespace is also a bit more expensive, right? Especially compared to other services like Hostinger, but we'll talk more on that later. There's also no free plan, right? But there is a 14-day free trial, and that gives you plenty of time to basically build your website, test it out, and see if it works for you. Now, if we check out the pricing, you can definitely see that Squarespace is quite a bit more expensive. And so we have the basic plan for $16 per month, core plan is $23 per month, and the plus plan is $39 per month. So those are the plans that most of you guys will probably use. Most of you won't need the advanced plan, and that one is also extremely expensive. You can see they all come with Squarespace AI, which is great. They all come with a free custom domain and access to all the templates, but you definitely get some more advanced features with the core and plus plans. Now, I will say you can save quite a bit of money if you actually choose to be billed annually versus if you pay monthly, right? So the monthly prices are quite a bit more. It's $25 for the basic, $36 per month for the core, and $56 for the plus plan. So as you can see, it's definitely a bit pricey, especially compared to the other options. But answering the question, who is Squarespace best for? I'd say it's going to be for creatives, professionals, and small businesses who want a really stylish website without hiring a designer. It's really, really popular among creatives, and it's definitely a more premium solution. So if you want that all-in-one solution and being able to create a great looking website right out of the box, then Squarespace is really perfect. If you also want to build a small store and want that integrated e-commerce functionality, Squarespace is pretty solid. Not quite as good as Shopify, which most people use, but still quite powerful. And lastly, it's for people that want to have a website up and running really fast with really minimal tweaking. So if you combine all the templates with all the AI functionality, you can definitely create a full website in under one day. Overall, a great choice for a lot of people, especially creatives, but it does come at a cost. Oh, and one thing with Squarespace is you guys can actually use code Charlie Chang at checkout. It's going to take 10% off your plan. So use my link down below and that code if you want to save some money. Okay, the next website builder I want to talk about is Wix. So when it comes to Wix, their website builder is actually really good. It's fully customizable, like I said. So if you do have some design experience, this can be great. You can literally put anything you want on anywhere on the page. You're not locked into putting things in specific sections. So if you're really creative and you have design experience, this is really going to offer you so much flexibility. The website builder has been really improving over the last couple of years. They've incorporated a bunch of AI functionalities. So if you want to use AI to, really streamline the website building process, Wix definitely has those tools. Wix also has tons and tons of templates. I believe almost 1,000 different templates. And so no matter what type of website you're trying to build, they're gonna have at least a dozen templates ready for you to choose from. Now, I will say the designs are really quite good, maybe a notch below Squarespace's templates, but still super beautiful, super professional looking, and all mobile optimized, which is really important. Wix also has a huge app market, and so that allows you to add a ton of new functionality to your website. So for example, if you want to have a chat widget on your website, or you want to be able to book appointments or have events, you can add a ton of stuff like that to your Wix site. Wix also has pretty solid e-commerce functionality, and so if you want to have a beginner e-commerce store, then Wix can also be a great choice. Now, if you do have coding skills, Wix actually has some really great stuff for you. You can add custom code. You can also use Wix Velo, and that allows you to use your coding skills to create database-driven content. So yeah, if you're really more advanced, you're not looking for like a super basic editor, then Wix could be a great choice. Another pro is that there is a free plan available, but the only limitation to this is that you cannot use a custom domain, and there's going to be ads on your website. Now, let's talk about some of the cons. And the first one is that with all this functionality, Wix can be a little bit overwhelming. It's definitely harder to learn than some of the other website builders. And I'll say the interface is probably not as streamlined as, Squarespace or Hostinger. You definitely need to spend a bit more time learning everything. But like I said earlier, that's because there is so much custom functionality you can add. Another con is that once you choose a template for your website, you really can't switch to a completely new template without rebuilding most of your pages. So definitely keep that in mind if you're using Wix. And in terms of performance and speed, Wix is solid, right? It's still fast, but I'd say it's a little bit less fast than some of the other website builders. And that's because there is a ton of code on most of these websites. Another con is that the cost is definitely a little bit higher than some of the other builders. So that's something to consider. In terms of pricing, we have the light plan, there's the core plan, and there's also the business plan. So it's gonna be between $17 per month to $36 per month. Most of you guys won't need the business elite plan unless you're trying to build like a really big website. They all come with a free domain for 1 year, which is pretty awesome. The light plan is a little bit sparse on the storage space at only 2 gigabytes, but that does increase a lot if you get the business plan to 100 gigabytes. You also get more marketing features. And I'll say if you want to have e-commerce functionality, you can't get the light plan. You need to go with at least the core or business plan. Overall, I'd say Wix is a great choice. I've had a lot of fun using their website builder and having this all-in-one solution. And while there is a small learning curve compared to some of the other builders, if you have a very specific design that you want to build, then Wix can definitely do it. So overall, I'd say like if you're a small business owner, if you want to create a portfolio website, if you just want to build any type of website, Wix is going to be able to do that for you. There's so many apps, you can add a ton of functionality, and it's in the middle when it comes to pricing. So it's not super expensive, but it's also not super cheap. Okay, the next website builder I want to talk about is Webflow. Webflow is a really powerful website builder. We use it for my paid recruiting website, and a lot of startups and tech companies tend to really like Webflow. I'd say it's definitely more of like a professional web design tool. And so if you're a beginner, then it's not going to be the best choice. It definitely can be quite hard to learn. But that brings us to the pros, right? There is so much design power when it comes to Webflow. You can basically create any type of design that you want in Webflow. And a lot of these designs would be extremely hard to build in some of the other website builders. Webflow is really good for CMS and content-driven sites. So CMS, it stands for Content Management System. So for example, a blog or really dynamic content. I'm not going to get too in-depth in the advanced features, but basically know that if you want to manage a ton of different content, or you want a blog with a lot more flexibility than some of the other website builders, then yeah, website is going to be really good. In terms of speed, that's one of Webflow's best attributes. It outputs a lot of really clean code, and as a result, the websites tend to load really fast. And on top of that, you also have access to really advanced SEO. And yeah, I'd say it's sort of a blend between WordPress and the other beginner website builders. It's still an all-in-one solution, meaning you get all the hosting and builder in one spot, but you get a ton of that WordPress customizability. A lot of designers love to use Webflow, so there are tons and tons of community-made templates. A lot of these will be free, but a lot of them are also going to be paid. And they have a really active forum, so if you want to really learn Webflow, there are tons of resources you can learn from. Now, that brings us to the cons. First being, of course, there is a steeper learning curve. Webflow is not the best choice for you if you are a beginner because it's going to take you hours and hours to learn. The interface is more of like a design tool, think like Photoshop, rather than a simple click and drop editor. And so if you have zero knowledge when it comes to design concepts, then it's going to be really hard. Pricing is also mid-tier, so not too cheap, not too expensive. Another con is if you want to have e-commerce functionality, I probably would not use Webflow. It's pretty basic and I would rather just use something like Shopify. Another con is that there are fewer free templates. There are tons and tons of paid ones, but only a few dozen templates are completely free. Now that's not going to really impact things because most people that use Webflow, they're not going to, rely on a template. They're going to create their own design. And of course, that means it's less plug and play. So if you want to integrate third-party services into Webflow, it's going to be a little bit more complex to do so. So if you check out the pricing, you guys can see there is a free starter plan. You won't be able to have a custom domain, but it is free, which is pretty cool. Once you get into the paid plans, it's going to be between $14 to $39 per month if billed annually. And if you do build monthly, it's going to be between $18 to $49. You get more and more features as you pay more, but I'd say for most of you guys, the CMS plan is going to be plenty. So yeah, not too bad of a price. It still is a lot more expensive than, let's say, Hostinger, but still $23 per month, not bad. Overall, I'd say that it's really good for designers, developers, or like tech savvy people who want full control over the look and feel of their website. The reason why we use Webflow for paid recruiting is because we have a website development team, so they're able to do all this stuff. If I were building a website by myself, I probably would not use Webflow. So yeah, if you want a very custom standout website and you have a website development team or you yourself know how to build using Webflow, then Webflow is a great choice. If you also want to build websites for clients, their white label features are really good for that. And yeah, it's just really a perfect platform for intermediate and advanced users. All right, the next website builder I want to talk about is Shopify. And if you're watching this video, you've probably heard of Shopify as being like the most commonly used and popular e-commerce builder. So yeah, if you're trying to build a website and the main purpose of that website is to sell products, whether it be online products or physical products, then I'd say Shopify is probably the best choice. It has the best set of e-commerce features out there, right? You can add unlimited products, you can track inventory, you can process payments. It's all integrated within Shopify. And it really is like the gold standard when it comes to e-commerce stores. In terms of the store setup, it's also quite easy to build your store. I have a bunch of tutorials showing you exactly how to do this on my channel, so I'll link those down below. But overall, it is pretty beginner friendly, right? There's a whole setup wizard that basically guides you through adding your products, setting up your shipping, your taxes, choosing your design. And then when it comes to actually building and customizing the look of your website, you do not need any technical skills. It's all done in the builder itself. Another big pro with Shopify is that it's extremely reliable and it's extremely scalable. So if you have a small store right now, you can get on Shopify. And even if you turn it into a multi-million-dollar company, let's say doing $100 million per year in sales, a lot of these stores, they still use Shopify. So super scalable, and the infrastructure with Shopify is extremely robust. Your site's going to load super fast. It's secure. I've used Shopify for many years, never had a problem with anything. And another pro is that they have a huge app ecosystem. So if you want to add like product fulfillment, you can easily connect something like Zendrop to your website, and all this functionality can be added with all these Shopify apps. It also offers multi-channel selling. So not only can you sell on your Shopify website, but you can also connect it to Facebook, Instagram, Amazon, and a bunch of these other websites. In terms of the looks of the websites that you can build, yeah, the templates overall are really solid. They're obviously optimized for e-commerce stores. So if you're building, let's say, a blog or a resume or a portfolio website, it's not going to make sense to use Shopify. But if you want to build a good responsive store that is mobile friendly, then the apps on Shopify are really amazing. If you're set on Shopify because you want to build an online store, I'll actually have a link down below to an AI store builder that'll basically build your entire store for free, populate your store with a bunch of trending products that you can start selling immediately through Zendrop. And yeah, it's all done with an AI. It's pretty cool. And of course, you do get access to that $1 free trial. Now, in terms of the cons, if you're not doing e-commerce, it's not going to make sense to use Shopify. Just go with any of the other website builders that I talked about in this video. If you're selling high volume, then you're definitely going to want to go with one of the more expensive plans, since the basic plans do come with more transaction fees. You're also a little bit limited when it comes to design flexibility. So while the editing software is pretty clean and it's easy to use, it's section based, so you don't have full functionality to change things. And overall, I'd say that there is a pretty, distinctive look when it comes to Shopify stores. There's also a pretty big learning curve when it comes to the more advanced features. So while the basic setup is very easy, if you want to fully utilize all the functionality like SEO, analytics, automation flows, it can take some time to learn all that stuff. stuff. If you want to get a free trial to Shopify, I'll have a link down below. You basically get started for free, and then you get 3 months at just $1 per month. So that's pretty cool. Pricing is going to be between $29 to $299 per month if billed yearly, and between $39 to $399 per month if billed monthly. As you can see, the card rates are different depending on what plan you have. And of course, you get more and more features if you go with the Grow and Advanced plan. But for most of you guys watching this video, the basic plan is going to be good enough. Overall, if you want to focus on just creating an online store, just use Shopify. The pricing is not bad. The basic plan is going to be good enough for most of you guys starting out. And like I said, it's infinitely scalable, so you can just upgrade your plan at any time if you want more functionality. And yeah, this is just the main builder that people use when it comes to e-commerce stores. Okay, the last builder I want to talk about is WordPress. I'm sort of just going to gloss over this. WordPress, I do consider it a website builder, but it's not like an all-in-one solution like the other services we talked about in this video. But yeah, WordPress, it's completely free to use. It's an open source software. About 40% of the web is built using WordPress. And while the builder itself is free, you do need to pay for a hosting service. And the cheapest plans are going to be between $2, $3, and $4 per month for that. WordPress obviously gives you the most flexibility and customization when it comes to building a website. You can seriously build any type of website. There are like 60,000 different plugins available to add features to your site. So many different themes, both free and paid. And yeah, if you want the most control over your website, then you're probably going to want to use WordPress. It's also really good for content heavy sites and blogs. So many different blogging tools, so many different content tools that you can add. And if you want to do e-commerce, you can also do that with WordPress. There is a tool called WooCommerce that adds e-commerce functionality that actually powers like 30% of online stores right now. And while it is definitely customizable, it's a lot harder to learn in my opinion. There are some AI WordPress builders out there. You do get that with Bluehost as well as Ionos. I'll have links to those down below. And yeah, the biggest pro, of course, is that it is free. Now, in terms of the cons, right, it does require more hands-on management. So for most people, I'd say if you just want a basic website, don't use WordPress. It's going to be hard to learn. It's going to be a little bit hard to maintain. Apps constantly need to be updated. You'll also need to handle backups yourself. It's not just like an all-in-one solution like the other services we talked about in this video. It's not super hard, but it definitely is going to take you some time to get up to speed and learn how to use properly. Another con is that performance and security really depend on you and what hosting service you choose. So a WordPress website, it could be really fast or it could be really slow, and that all depends on the setup. So you definitely want to choose a fast hosting service. I recommend Hostinger, Bluehost, Ionos, or SiteGround. Those are my favorite. And so yeah, tons and tons of cons in my opinion, but also tons of pros. If you want to have full control and want to manage the speed, the security, the hosting, all that stuff on your own, then WordPress is a great choice. If you also want to save money, right, just use WordPress, get a cheap hosting service. I'll have links down below to all of my favorites and just build using WordPress that way. But yeah, for most of you guys watching this video, if you just want like that basic professional looking website, you don't want to spend days, weeks, or months building your website, then I'd say just forego WordPress, use one of the website builders. And at some point, if you really need that added functionality and customizability, that's when you can come back to WordPress. Anyways, hopefully this video was helpful. I know we covered a ton of different information. I will say that you really cannot go wrong with any of these website builders, right? I've used so many over the last years. These are my favorites, and all for a good reason. They make building your website fast, affordable, and easy. And of course, any website you build using these platforms, it's gonna look good. It's gonna be optimized for mobile. And so you really cannot lose. Overall, I'd say that if you want the most affordable way to build a website, Hostinger is probably going to be my choice for that. If you want a more premium service and builder, all the other options are great for that. I encourage you guys to just take action. Having a website is extremely important. I've been building websites since I was like 12 years old, and having that online presence is a complete game changer. If you want to save some money on your website builder, I'll have links down below to all the different website builders we talked about. Using those links will help support the channel. Making videos like this takes a lot of time, a lot of energy. So I do want to say, if you use those links, thank you so much in advance. Plus, you'll save some money, so why not? I also have tons of full tutorials on a lot of these builders on my channel. And yeah, just go to the description. Everything's going to be there. So yeah, just hopefully this video is helpful. Comment below if you have any questions. And if you got any value from the video, make sure to hit that like button and also subscribe for more content just like this. I make a ton of videos about entrepreneurship, personal finance, and my whole goal is to help you live a financially successful life. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.